do I how do I have my power and my commitment if I don't have the sources, the income or a home or the power to
Well,
help our people?
well, I would argue that the income in a home is often a barrier to your commitment. What I find today is black people who have that education, who are in a privileged position, that privileged position often becomes a barrier to them reaching back to help other African people. If you look at what's going on in the NFL right now,
Yes.
where you have these very aggressive uh, alpha males, our black athletes, particularly our NFL athletes in particular, they're gladiators, they're warriors. They're some of the biggest, meanest men you'll ever see in your life.
Yes, they
But when
are.
it comes to confronting white supremacy, structural inequity, racism, and systemic discrimination, they are some of the most cowardly black men I've ever seen in my life. Ray Lewis, Shaquille O'Neal, Lil Wayne, just to name a few of the
Yes.
most
Yes.
ridiculous excuses for black men I've seen over the past couple of weeks and what they've had to say out of their mouths on national television. I mean, for Lil Wayne to sit up there and say he's never dealt with racism. You are from Louisiana. You are a richly melanated black man from the inner city. First of all, there's no black man in America. I think we would all agree that Barack Obama may have been the most privileged black man ever.
Yeah.
Even he has had to deal with racism. I know rich black males, they have had to deal with racism. I know
Always.
biracial black males, they have had to deal with racism. But you're going to sit up here on national TV and go as
And
far
say that.
as to lie. That was a lie. Go as far as to lie and say you never dealt with racism because you're too afraid to speak up on behalf of your people who are suffering from police genocide, given the fact that you've made millions of dollars off of rehearsing and revamping negative stereotypes of black women and black men. I mean, your songs is about killing black folks, selling
But
dope,
I was gonna say
exploiting black
he's
women.
not one of the people we want to stand on the front line.
Exactly.
Now, if he was well versed in understanding and not faded all the time, then we would stand up for us because his money is his power. But he's
Right.
not. He's not there.
What he said was unjustifiable regardless of how you look at it. But I think the pill could have been better swallowed had he not made such or built for himself such a lucrative estate on the backs of black stereotypes.
It's true.
So it's one thing that you benefit yourself off of negative caricatures of black people, and then you turn right around and defend white folks.
And the
So
same
you've
people
already
that's
hurt
buying-
us with
buying
your music, and you're going to turn around and hurt
Yep.
us again with defending white folks. Nobody should ever buy another Lil Wayne album in their
Mark,
life.
now, you know, culturally, we are entertainers and we're sports figures, and we have a lot of entertainers and sports figures that have millions of dollars. What is it going to take to have those? Because culturally, that's what we do. We dance, sing, and we play sports, and we make millions of dollars in those areas. What is it going to take to unite some of these football players and basketball players and singers and dancers to come off some of that, to build some of these banks and invest in some of these banks, to go back to their neighborhoods in which they've grown up in, and now they've left? What is it going to take for us to kind of convince some of them who have the millions of dollars to put back into the community?
Well, first of all, we have to recognize that our black celebrities, be they athletes or entertainers, we see them as people, but from a capitalist perspective, they are a corporate product. C is a corporate product. LeBron James is a corporate product. They are merchandise. That means that they are controlled by the corporation. Everything they think, everything they say, everything they do must be rubber stamped by the corporation that created them. They are merchandise. They are not free to exercise their own discretion to use their money how they see fit. We have to understand the black celebrity is in a position to create economic revolution for black people. And because of that, they are being watched more closely by the FBI than Umar Johnson ever could be. I can talk about it, but they have the money to make it a reality. And because of that, they are under a surveillance that's greater than anything COINTELPRO has ever put in our community. So that is to say that they will never be the catalyst for the economic change. They will come in after the change has already taken place, which means we have to do the work. We have to bake the cake, and the celebrities will put the cherry on top when it's done.
Wow. Well, Dr. Umar, we're going to go to the phone lines right here. We have a caller that's been waiting for a while here, and we're going to go to those Caller 214, you're on the Bobby Eaton Show.
Yes. Good evening, and I wanted to address the sports and entertainment aspect of raising funds for the community, and that would be that these corporations bankroll, like the doc said, these athletes, but they already know where the true athletes come from. So you flip that as black people and you send your black athletes to black universities where that you filter that money from the corporations to the black universities. Because they're going to follow. America loves athletes, and they're going to follow the athletes. The money's going to follow the athletes. And you flip it and you turn it to where you have to talk to your community and send your young black athletes to black colleges where they're more respected, they're more comfortable, and they're more inclined to educate themselves.
So how you feel about that, Dr. Umar?
I actually totally agree with him. In fact, I was questioned on another interview, actually several interviews, about the University of Missouri black student athlete protest that took place a few months ago, not only in Missouri, but at many of the predominantly white institutions around the country. Black students and black student athletes engaged in protests against racism on campus. And people asked my opinion, and in support of what the caller just said, I said that if these students were really serious about fighting against racism, you would not be giving $30,000 of your money a year away to a racist white college. You would divest from the University of Missouri and take your $30,000 a year to Howard or Spelman or Hampton or Clark or Morehouse. If you really wanted revolution, you would simply cripple the white college by divesting. What could any of these Division I white colleges do without the black male athlete? Do you realize that many of these Division I white colleges, they make more money off of their football team than they do from any of their operations, including tuition? So he's correct. That would be revolution for every Division I black athlete to leave the white college and go to a black one. But there's only one problem with that. There's only one problem with that. Black people lack the cultural commitment to make a major move like that.
Yes. Yep. In the financial arena,
Chinese
too.
would do it.
Yeah.
Latinos would do it. Arabs would do it. East Indians would do it. European Jews would do it. Black people hate being black too much for you to expect them to do something in the interest of other black people.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad you said it that way, because
wow,
my God.
And that is so true, you know. They're just laying it out the way it really, really supposed to be, you know.
And you know, it comes from years and years of that propaganda and that mindset that we have that needs to be changed. Like the caller says, let's take our children and put them somewhere where they're respected and where they're still going to garner those big monies in the end.
I also think,
education.
Dr. Umar, don't you think that we need more black media, you know, like TV and radio and more communication type of, you know?
Yes, you have to have your own information and propaganda dissemination network and system. Why? Because the brain, I don't care how intelligent you are, the brain will always be the victim of repetition. Anything that the mind is consistently exposed to, no matter how intelligent that mind is, that mind will come to believe it. Look on television. Look at the most popular shows on television. They are very demeaning and disrespectful to black women in particular, black people in general. Our children are being programmed by Scandal and Housewives and Empire and Orange is the New Black and all these disrespectful shows about black folks. This is nothing but information